RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Tuesday night live stream. Looking forward to connecting. Want to make sure everything is flowing smoothly before I get into my long rants. So let me see by a show of thumbs up out there if the audio is good, if you guys can hear me. And I got a lot of interesting subjects to touch on tonight, and looking forward to getting your thoughts on it, as well as finding out whatever else you guys have been keeping an eye on. And so I want to make sure we give a chance for everybody to call in and let their voice be heard, as well as probably about 10 o'clock or so, about 30 minutes, give or take. If I can get everything covered without minimum disruptions, we can get everything going as far as having people join for the RTD face-to-face. And so we got a lot of things worth touching on. Let me make sure I'm streaming on everything smoothly, because I would hate to be ranting and not have everything worked out. So while you're here, hit the thumbs up button, show your love for the channel. And what I'll do is I'll do a little maintenance on my side. Got about 4 or 5 different articles all related to the same subject matter, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail. You know, the infrastructure bill is passed, and, you know, for months and months and months ago, Biden mentioned that it's just a down payment. And so the American Recovery Plan, the American Rescue Plan, the infrastructure bill, and then we have the Build Back Better resolution, or the budget plan, which is coming. These are all down payments as to what's underway. And it's ultimately because of the global agenda to transform the economy, to transform government, to transform humanity. And so I'm going to lay out my little case for those that might be new to the channel as to why that is. So everyone will be able to share their 2 cents on that. So let me do a little homework on my side, and then we'll jump right in. A lot of interesting subject matter. And so for those that are new, rethinkingthethdollar.com is the website where you can go to catch articles on crypto, gold, silver, you name it. We have the biggest DeFi hack of all times today, $600 billion, pretty much, 600 million, I'm sorry. So definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I got recommended videos here. And then for those that might be new, want to encourage you to scroll down to the bottom. How to unplug from the monetary matrix. The very first one is the Dollar IQ quiz. 10 quick questions to see where you stand. So far, the average is around 65%. So we still got a lot more room to go. So if you have taken the quiz, thumbs up to you. If you haven't, forward the link to a friend or family member. Give them a chance to have their Dollar IQ tested. And then if they do well, great. If they don't, have them join us for the community. Either way it go, ultimately leads to getting out of the Federal Reserve note, aka the dollar. And then also this Wednesday, tomorrow night, we're going to have a little Patreon hangout. So for those that are interested, consider supporting the channel via Patreon. Any denomination is good, and you can join us off air. Get a chance to just let your hair down, rant a little bit with me on screen, and have some unscripted talk. So looking forward to doing that tomorrow night at 9:30. And then also for those that want to connect with RTD off of YouTube, which would be my suggestion, we have all the links to everything, everywhere you can find RTD. All that information is beneath this video here. So the social media tab. So you should be good to go. All right, let's dive right in. Let me acknowledge a couple people for taking the time to bless us with their presence. Any new viewers, feel free to let us know where you're watching from via the chat. And then when the phone line is open, 313-462-0027 is the number you can call to let your voice be heard. So let me jump right in. Bitcoin Phoenix is joining us. We got Ed. We got Solo in the building. Says we need to show Rand and Ron Paul some love. They are the real deal. Ed, I agree with you. And they are voices in the wilderness crying out, informing the people. Problem is their ability to make a true difference is not as great as it needs to be to really make a difference. So it's always good. You know, Ron Paul has been preaching for 20 years, you know, question the Fed, question the monetary system, everything in between. He retired and now he's doing his own thing on the private side, but he's just one voice out of 300 million. We need more people to echo these messages. So that's why it's always important to make sure you share all of your favorite content creators' information with your family and friends, so it gets them to, you know, to question everything and hopefully join the bandwagon, because it starts one person at a time, and that's how movements are started. But at this current moment, it's never too late, but yet time is ticking. The clock is ticking. DC Precise, Barlight Brokers checking in with us. We got Bougie Prepper checking in. We got Mr. Nitty, Riley T. We got Samuel. Cuomo is gone. Definitely, that's something worthwhile. I think it's a trap, but I'll share my 2 cents as to why I believe that is. So feel free to chime in. Let me know what you guys think about that. You know, I think it's a distraction. You know, his pride wouldn't let him humbly bow down unless he was told by some higher ups that he's needed to take to take a leave of absence, but he's still gonna be taken care of, I'm sure. So just it's a distraction, man, and give us something to talk about outside of the other political stuff happening in Arizona and things like that, which is due any time frame this month with some real information on the results. We got an alternative, Mike Lindell's things. I have not brought that broker. Okay, fair amount of people here. Appreciate everybody for my Hellboy. Rusty. Okay, fair amount of people here. So it looks like we got Matt says silver to $18. Can't wait. Matt, the day we see $18 silver, it means the premiums are probably going to definitely go up. The premiums will go up in the opposite direction, would be my guess, depending on which dealer, which coin shop. But your small mom and pops, I don't think they can let anything go lower than what they have right now, or they'll lose money. So maybe the major online bullion dealers might be able to drop the premiums just because they're in competition with one another. But I wouldn't hold my breath that I would be able to get that deal unless you have somebody you deal with directly that'll do you a favor. But anyway, you'll stand. Anybody will stand to lose. They will lose by letting things go, as the price of silver was to drop if it did drop. Just my 2 cents there. All right, so let's keep it moving, man. Let's just jump right in. So infrastructure bill was passed. And so what I noticed on Twitter sphere immediately following was a lot of senators or whatnot that opposed it, and things didn't go their way. They were basically shining light as to what we could expect. And then I saw this video here where within the first couple of seconds, let me put this on the screen here. Within the first couple of seconds, let me get my screens together. Within the first couple of seconds, just the title alone caught my attention. And you guys may not be able to see it down here, but it says, Biden says $1 trillion infrastructure will transform America. Now, he's mentioning that to those that have no clue as to what's really going on. When I saw the word transform America, I automatically thought it'll decimate, it'll destroy, it's going to demolish America. Even more so because we're heading into that territory in the first place. But $1 trillion, that's nothing. But just think about that. We're talking about in a supposed recovery time frame, talks of the Fed tapering supposedly, and people's stock portfolios at all-time highs and your house valuations at all-time highs. Why do we still need all of this excess spending? Apart from the fact that it's not really about a recovery, it's about a restructuring of the American economy. And so I've been preaching that for a while now, how there will be no recovery. It is a restructuring, and it all plays into a lot of things that the extremely left Democratic politicians tweeted today. They all hashtag the word Build Back Better. So Build Back Better is code word for Great Reset, aka the Great Restructuring. And so every single dollar, every single Federal Reserve note that they passed, as I mentioned from last night's live stream, it was suggested by some lobbyist that was paid by some private entity on Wall Street to write the things that they wanted inside of that 2,700 page bill that was signed, which no single politician read. Basically, this $1 trillion goes right to Wall Street, because think about the funds, all the people who will be working on the projects and all the things that we have no idea what's in that page, they all go to the big institutions. So it's basically they're funneling money in the name of infrastructure, and all they're promising out of this is some better roads, Wi-Fi, broadband, electric stations around the country, and some good paying union jobs. Right. At the same time, everything else is being restructured. So automatically, as a skeptic, I see through this crap. I hope you guys do too. I know you guys do. But the problem is a good portion of the population has no clue as to what's going on. So what I want to do is simply just dive into a couple tweets. So here are some things here that shines more light on how severe things really are, as far as we're no longer playing with small figures. We're playing with the trillions. Everything moving forward will be in the word trillions. And mind you, we're close to $30 trillion of national debt, which of course cannot be paid. And given the current agenda to make sure everybody's participating in this health experimentation, I can see how they don't expect to pay that back, because if things go their way, I don't think they'll have any worries with not being able to meet those obligations, because unfortunately a lot of people may no longer be around to receive a payout on a lot of those things. But here's a tweet that came out earlier. I thought it was shared. It says Democrats are engaged in a 9.5 trillion spending spree. It says this week they'll be spending nearly 5 trillion. They're spending 5 trillion. We got 1.2 for the infrastructure, and then we got 3.5 for the Bernie budget resolution, which is also known as the Build Back Better resolution. It says our country is facing an inflation bomb due in part to the Democrats' money printing. So just look at those numbers: 9.5 trillion spending spree, and that's just a down payment. And I'm gonna show you why. And then the next tweet here is also from Ted Cruz. This is just a follow-up. It says, Bernie's budget resolution is wildly irresponsible for the future of our country. It will cause the total debt to reach 45 trillion. That's 134% of our GDP by 2031. So once again, there's very little regard for what this does to the economy. Why? Because they need to get as much purchasing power out of the system, out of this current monetary system while they can, so that they can build back better or restructure it. And of course, it all boils down to the globalist ideal utopic society is all tied into the concept of what's called the fourth industrial revolution, which of course everybody knows. But I'm going to go through a couple bullets here to let you know how every single thing that's in these bills plays into taking us into that solely digital connected, ID identifiable, biometrics, financial realm type stuff. So just stick around for 1 second. I'll start ranting, open up the phone lines, and then invite you guys to join in. So here's just a couple more tweets here. It says, this is from Representative Chip Roy, press office. It says, even when it funds quote unquote hard infrastructure, it also wastes your money on programs that have no business being in an infrastructure bill. It says of the $65 billion for broadband, only $14 billion goes to a permanent welfare program to pay individuals' internet bills. So once again, if you fall within our threshold of probably whatever the stimulus check and all that stuff, child tax credit. So ultimately, they're setting aside $14 billion, as it says here, for the welfare program to cover people's bills. So I'm assuming he happened to go into those 2,700 pages and pull this out. And this, I'm not sure where it's at, but it says Federal Communication Commission, Affordable Connectivity Fund. So once again, what business is it of the governments to make sure internet access and being connected to the social sphere is a part of a welfare program, other than the fact they need you connected so that they can make sure they track, trace, and do everything. They can do all that for you on your behalf because they'll be funding it. So once again, just more stuff to consider. We have yet to find out what's really in that bill. And because but majority of us have been so concerned with the crypto regulation, which end up not even going in the favor of the cryptoites, which is a good thing. I'm going to tell you why. But here it says, this is Kamala Harris. It says the hashtag Build Back Better agenda. So she tweeted this today at 4:29 today, the Build Back Better agenda. And this, what is this? I thought this was an infrastructure bill passed, but nope, it's all encompassing. We got lower costs for families. She made a statement saying that Biden promised not to raise middle income taxes or whatever. He's going to do that. Okay, a little bit too late because most people won't have jobs to be taxed. So okay, cut taxes. Okay, I'm not sure how you're going to cut taxes while you're creating trillions and trillions and trillions, but we're in modern monetary theory right now, so it works fine. Create millions of jobs. I'm not quite sure because those jobs comes with a catch, because you're going to have to be tagged, tracked, and trace a bull and everything going through a certain QR code type of ordeal in order to accept those jobs. And then it says, this is the liberals and the progressives' favorite statement: ensure the wealthy pay their fair share. Look at that. Build back better. And then here's another one here. And so this is just the Build Back Better thread. This is what all the people have been tweeting today. Nancy Pelosi The leadership of POTUS has seized this once in a century. Opportunity. What does she mean by once in a century opportunity? She said today is a progress as the Senate has passed a bipartisan infrastructure package and paved the way for not only rebuilding but reimagining our infrastructure for the 21st century. So once again, this is a small down payment for their greater plan, as they say, of rebuilding and reimagining our 21st century. Okay. So what exactly am I referring to? So let's go into it. So last year, Biden goes global for talking about, Build Back Better plan model after the United Nations disaster relief program. And so we've all heard about Build Back Better. Every candidate, every prime minister around the world has talked about Build Back Better. But if you read through this, it just gives more highlights as to how the United Nations is the first entity that came out with the idea of building back better. And it has to do with ultimately like some type of building back resolution. And then just to go and give you some information here. Here is the actual documentation that paints, shares a little light on that. And so this is the United Nations Office of Disaster Risk Reduction. And this is from Geneva, 2016. It's on the web. And it just says the World Bank Group has announced a major new building policy. Scroll down. For resilience program will leverage good practice in building regulation as a part of a strategy to reduce both chronic risk and disaster risk. And it goes on to talk about how they're going to accomplish that. But the Build Back model started with the UN. So here we are now. And introducing the Great Reset, world leaders' radical plan to transform the economy. And so this is from last summer with World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, all those individuals, all on board, Bernie Sanders, Alexander Cortez, the Green New Deal. And so this is all interconnected. So none of these policies or bills they come up with are their own. They're all a part of the establishments, those individuals who are trying to control this entire experience, how they've orchestrated every single thing, working with Microsoft, BP, you name it. All these CEOs are working together, and they're working towards this ideal right here. I got the wrong one here. I got to get back here. And so the Green New Deal could cost more than $90 trillion. So a complete revamping, restructuring of our entire world, the way Nancy Pelosi said that we need to reimagine this 21st century. This is a once in a 100-year lifetime opportunity. Altogether, it would cost close to $90 trillion. Now, of course, this was from 2 years ago when Cortez came out ahead of time talking about this whole green movement, which we're experiencing now. Every single country around the world pretty much is on fire because climate change and all the stuff like that. And so $1 trillion deal today, 3.5 tomorrow for the resolution. And then what else is left? You subtract about 90 from 5. If we go back here so you subtract 90 trillion from Ted Cruz saying that as of now, it's about 9.5 trillion. That still means that they have roughly 80 trillion more to go in its entirety within this decade is what they may end up trying to get out of this current monetary system before everything completely goes belly up. Why? Because the ultimate goal is to get the absolute remaining cents. So like right now, and everybody knows this, the consumer dollar. And so Biden will be the last administration under this current monetary paradigm using this entity called the Federal Reserve Note System. But yet has anybody ever noticed how, regardless of all these trillions over the last year, especially, so think about this, the monetary base in Federal Reserve terms has increased by 25 to 30%. I mean, that, 25, 30% of currency has been created out of this 200 plus year history or 100 plus year using this currency. How come the consumer dollar reports from the Fed still says that there's 2 cents or 3 cents left of purchasing power when more currency has been created in the last year than in the prior history of this country? How is that possible? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But you factor in, you got the euro dollar, you have the digital versions of the reserve creation, you got the fractional reserve commercial bank credit extension model. And so they literally have 2 to 3 cents worth of purchasing power that they're going to try to get out in the form of this 80 to 90 trillion perhaps, if things are able to be held together long enough. And so this plays into why this infrastructure deal is $1 trillion, no big deal, 3.5 coming soon. But yet expect a lot more in the near future, and it's going to be interesting to see how they roll it out, because there's always need of a new event. So right now, the infrastructure deal is what they're trying to pay this on: roads, bridges, jobs, whatever. Okay, how far will $1 trillion go? Really, it's not going to go far at all. And so the next bill, 3.5, is the budget. Is the budget that the government will set for the next year. We all know that always doesn't matter because we run deficits every year, so that's never really something that counts. And then there's going to be another event. And this is just all me saying that in order to get to that next major package, there needs to be another event. And that could be a market correction. That can be some type of, something and another. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. What type of event can they use to justify the need for either emergency injection of currency or some type of package deal to help something or another? Because I believe personally, as a result of all the stuff happening this fall, come winter, there will be talks of another need for some package. And I'd imagine it's going to be the Help American Citizens Recover package or something, because you're going to have a good portion of the population probably unemployed or underemployed. Businesses going to be closed. They're going to try to throw some type of, lockdown type of thing back at us. And that's going to be just the cover up for, we need another package to get things rolling again. We got to revive the economy heading into the holiday season. We got Christmas coming in a couple of weeks. And how can the kids not have Christmas toys under the Christmas tree? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how they'll play that. The holiday season is here. We have to send another round of checks. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm done ranting, man. I got more stuff to touch on, but let's talk a little bit. Let me open the phone lines. Shane says deficit spending is not permanent. Eventually they run out of other people's money. Very true. But Shane, at this current moment, they're not really using anybody else's currency. They've reached into the future to grab everything they could. So the possibility of them trying to shoot for 90 trillion, they have to do all this as much as they can now, because I don't think they can get 90 trillion out of this current system before something gives. So that's why I think the clock is ticking, because not only will there be, I think they're not concerned with ever having to repay anything back. And so ultimately, why not just get the last little bit of juice you can out of this system? And so we all know what this is ticking like right here. So before October-ish, if all this stuff passes, we're going to be beyond 30 trillion. But yeah, that can continue to go because it doesn't matter, because they're not going to pay it back. And as of right now, we're already 128% U.S. debt to GDP. So once again, we already on borrowed time. And then you just look at the very bottom here. This is what is the most concerning. Social Security liability is 21 trillion. Medicare is 33 trillion. U.S. unfunded liabilities is $154 trillion. There's no way of paying this. And the sad part is, this entire 154 trillion is owed to a generation right now, i.e. the baby boomers. And those are the generation that's expecting to receive a good portion of all those benefits there. And the government know damn well that they won't be coming out of any of that, especially if they convince, and this is just me, my far left field tinfoil hat wearing self, but yet they're not going to have to pay any of that, because they're making sure that everyone participates in his health situation. And that right there, to me, will probably, unfortunately, forfeit the longevity of life for a lot of individuals, to where it'll save them the headache of having to actually come out of those benefits in the future. But I hope I'm wrong, but yet I'd rather just be honest with you guys. All right, so let's keep moving. I didn't. So I see some back and forth out there. So anyway, let's get the phone lines open. Let's talk. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Talk about Cuomo. We got the crypto situation. So I want to share my 2 cents on that. Hit the thumbs up button if you guys enjoying the back and forth thus far. And let's get some voices, man. Phone lines are open, 313-462-0027. We'd love to hear from you guys directly. And it looks like I've missed a couple calls already. Forgive me. But I had to get that little rant out. But we ain't seen nothing yet in the form of trillions. They need 80 trillion or so more to execute this Green New Deal. And let me share something with you real quick while waiting on the phone call. And for those that might think that this is a little far-fetched, let's just look at this right here. So this is the World Economic Forum's. Let me see if I can get this in here. This is the World Economic Forum's fourth industrial revolution chart. And this is every aspect of what they're looking to pass is included in this circle right here. Every single aspect. And if it's something that can be built or something that can be restructured or redone to society, it's in here. All the way from, we got 5G, we got the digital identity. So if I click on this, that's not something that's getting talked about a lot, but yet the privacy, agency, and trust, we got the economic value of ID, digital ID. So we got Internet of Things, blockchain, COVID-19, we got 5G. So all this stuff right here is what is going to be included. They got to fund all this. But anyway, I would encourage you guys to do a little research for those that might be new to this. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Mike.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good information this evening. This is Mike in Philadelphia.
Mike in Philly. Give me some good news, man. What's going on with you?
I'm not sure if I can follow through with that request. So there are just a few things I wanted to touch upon with the United States military being forced to take the jab. One of three things I wanted to touch upon with these being possibilities. The first one being pure propaganda, which would make the other populace not vaccinated feel more secure that the military is getting it, so they'll follow through, get more people getting the jab there. So that's one. Second one, I think, is a little impractical, would be, we know the jab is not healthy. I don't think it would get the majority of the military sick. I think that would be too isolated of an incident and draw poor perspective of that. So I don't think that's a possibility, getting the military sick. However, the third one, I think, is going to be just a Trojan horse approach, in that if they do get them injected with the graphene, and you can essentially just shut down the United States, the world's most powerful military, and really prevent them from, just as you were showing the fourth revolution there. And by the way, if you look at that infographic, it's a pentagram or a pentagon, the 5 points that were just noted in the last infographic you showed. But if you want to prevent the United States military from physically intervening with the fourth industrial revolution, being able to shut them down with the flip of a satellite switch or frequency is probably the way to do it. So they're compromised, Trojan horse, and I think it's pretty much game over from that point. So if there is any good news, I'll give you this. I'll correct a lot of people and try not to be too pessimistic. The term elite, people throw the term elite around. It's actually pronounced elite, and that's the way we ought to be referring to this, our elites. Yes, sir. All right.
I can run with that. Thank you, my man, for calling and sharing that. Great insight.
Take care, sir.
Yeah, be good. Okay. And that's great insight. Those are three angles that I don't think we've touched on directly, so I appreciate you for bringing that to the table. And that does play into the idea that at this current moment they can throw out any narrative for any objective they want to accomplish, and the mainstream narrative, mainstream news will run with it, because at this current moment all gloves are off. They're playing extremely dirty because there is no such thing as outright truth to them. They need their agenda to be pushed, and that's where I think before the end of this year is out, we're going to find out why was things so rushed. Why was there such a condensing of time for this whole experiment to be rolled out? And they're using late September, early October. Every narrative, the Army participating by late September. We got the healthcare by October. It's quite alarming, I must admit. Not surprising to anybody, I'm sure. Let's get some calls. I'm missing all types of calls. Forgive me. Let me get this. Come on now, get out the way. Let me get this call here. Let me see. So I think the phone, let me see. Here we go. Bam. Let's hit this one. Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, Pima Region 9.
Steve, how you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Good. Hey, I just dropped a video to you from the Hagman report.
Yeah.
It was from a day or two ago. If you can post that to the community.
Okay.
I guess Steve Quayle was on there for the second half of that show. The whole show was good, but he was on there for the second half of that show.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the dams, et cetera, throughout the nation.
Hello. Look. looks like we got disconnected for a quick second there. Hello? All right, let's get the next call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure, Corpus Christi. How's it going?
LBP, doing good, my friend.
Good. Man, I just been drinking and partying, man. I just want to say, what's up with the Silver Slam, Mike?
Was it another one today? I didn't even tune into it today. What happened today? Or you talking about the other day?
Man, well, it's just going down, man. It hit 22. I guess it was yesterday. I don't know, man. I just been partying too hard. I got my vacation, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 23:32 as of right now. I think at this current moment, everybody that's labeled a stacker, i.e., someone that's trying to preserve future purchasing power, looking at the price will keep you frustrated. Just focus on the ounce, focus on the weight, your tonnage. You know what I'm saying? Work on getting your tonnage up. That's what you do. And just let things fall. Let the chips fall where they may. And I'm sure you'll be sitting nice and heavy when the storm blows through. So I don't, you know me, man. I don't pay attention to the price. That's not me.
Yeah. I went to Sam's, man. I bought like $1,300 of meat, you know. And man, I mean, meat has gone up, you know, not a lot, but you could tell.
Yeah, and so we got, I think, our Tyson Foods mentioned their prices going up, so they're going to have to make sure that the customers feel that. And I saw something about Canada. They had to slaughter 130,000 pigs due to the wildfires or something like that. So, you factor in the withholding of goods and services and the increase of the base materials to make all this stuff. I mean, manufacturers got to make a profit, man, as well as greed factored in. It's to be expected, man. And so it's going to be an interesting winter, my friend.
All right, Mike. All right. Thanks for taking my call,
Appreciate
Mike.
you.
Have a good night.
No problem, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, bye.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I apologize for the hang up out of the blue. System just went off. Surprise? Not really. Anyway, we're going to make it work. So let's talk about Cuomo. Let's talk a little about Cuomo. It looks like he decided to opt out under force, or did he volunteer, or what? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Let's get to this call here. Let me get to this call here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Paul from Eugene, Oregon.
Paul from Eugene, Oregon. How you doing, my friend? What's going on out in your neck of the woods?
Man, crazy over here. I don't know if you saw over the weekend Antifa throwing the bombs at the children at the Christian concert.
Unfortunately, I did not, man. Give us the rundown.
Man, I was watching it live as it was happening on my TV, and they were having a Christian concert, and Antifa showed up and started throwing those smoke bombs or whatever, those light bombs, and threw them at kids.
Really?
Kids. And it went into the next day. The Christians came back and had an even bigger concert, and Antifa showed up again, and they had a big rally, or a big brawl, I should say, in the streets. And yeah, I was watching it. Just crazy.
I did not.
Like Detroit over here, man.
Yeah, man. Let me see. I see an article. It says ruthless Antifa attack Christians children at prayer event in Portland. So, I didn't hear nothing about this, man. And I don't think the mainstream news did CNN, Fox, anybody like that talk about this at all?
I was gonna call you last night and let you know, but I showed up a little late. You don't hear too much about it.
They're not gonna mention Antifa.
They want to blame it on the Proud Boys.
Yeah, the presidential election is over with now. So Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all those paid organizations, they're free to run now. And the Black Lives Matter movement, I ain't seen nothing from them lately, but oh my goodness, interesting stuff, man.
Man, one more thing. Unfortunately, I had to sell a little bit of my stack the last few months. I had to sell a half ounce gold coin a couple months ago, and I got like over $1,000 for it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
they paid me over spot.
Really?
And then yesterday I had to go back and sell an ounce. I had two other half ounce coins. I sold them Isle of Man coin and a panda, and they gave me only less than $1,700 for those two coins. So yeah, it definitely hit.
Yeah.
I was doing it. They always give me the same fair deal there, so that's just what they were paying on that day.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Well, that's what your stack is ultimately for, is for emergency sake or for long-term wealth storage.
Mortgage,
so
and it was time. I'm trying to get it back next week. So
yeah, hey,
you know how it goes.
Do what you do, man. Appreciate you calling.
Yep.
Be good.
Yep. See you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Appreciate the check-in from Portland area. let's talk. Phone lines are open. Curious to hear what else is going on. Give me your thoughts on Cuomo. What do you guys think that's all about? I got my thoughts. I want to hear you guys. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, FEMA Region 9 again.
Yep, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, basically, I guess we got cut off there. Yeah, I was talking about Steve Quell on that Hagman show that you have there in your email. He was talking about the western states, the electricity, food, and water. He was talking about those three combos there, and I think you know already that they shut down the Oroville Dam, which supplied like a million up to a million homes, etc. So he goes into great depth about the food, and I don't think people nationwide realize how much food California puts out for the nation. It's huge, and basically a lot of the farmers got cut off of the water. So all of that. So all of that stuff's going on. So you got the trifecta: electricity, food, and water. But they can watch it on that Hagman report there that you have in your email.
Yeah, I just put it there.
I won't keep you on.
All right, man.
I won't keep you on here.
Good deal. Appreciate you for reaching out.
Take care.
Yeah, be good. Okay, so food, water, electricity. And of course, with the dam being shut down due to lack of water. And so think about this, people. Outside of course, the grand solar minimum situation for sun and rays and stuff like that, we're not season. Okay, I can live with that. I have no choice but to live with that. It's be on this planet. But then again, you have the wildfires. Like, I think, what is it? Greece got wildfires. Canada had wildfires. California, I'm here in the northern hemisphere, California. For my people in that area, if we have any community members that's not too far or got some insights, feel free to call in. We're hearing about how it's the biggest fire and blaze, this and that, whatever. So all these fires, of course, it's a dry summer, okay? But then you got the wells drying up, water drought, and we know that certain areas is probably getting a little bit more water than they usually get for some reason. I don't know why. So you got floods over here, heat over here. And then one thing I want to mention that within the next couple of weeks, now watch my word and mark this date, 8/10/2021 at 10:10 p.m. For some reason, I just got a feeling that because of everything Florida's been doing, everything DeSantis has been doing, Florida this upcoming hurricane season, they gonna get hit with some of the most severe. It's gonna be a category something that we ain't never seen before. And I hope I'm wrong, but it just seemed like at this current moment, anything like that could be possible just because of what the elites, if I'm not saying that incorrectly from the caller that called in earlier, might want to throw out there. The Satanists, that's what I'll just call them. I feel more comfortable calling them Satanists as well as the Luciferianisms type. They practice that stuff. And of course, people might say, what does the devil have to do with this? But yet, look at this. This is a spiritual warfare, this essence. Everything has been done. Everything has been thrown at us. Not a single inch of it is beneficial for humanity. So here's another thing. Just look at common sense. Like, okay, you've been told to put something in your body, but then after the fact, you're told that doesn't protect you, but yet it helps minimize. And then also you got to get a booster shot to help minimize something that is already 99.9% not harmful to the majority of people. And then to make it even worse, they're telling you got to get some paperwork with a QR code in order to do what you want to do on a normal basis, while all of a sudden having something that doesn't even stop what it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever. Anyway, let's talk. Phone lines are open. Give me a call. So let me ask you, for those that are interested, real quick. I meant to do it earlier, but let's have a little face-to-face. And I got to work on the visual aid stuff. But for those that want to join me real quick, we can go a couple minutes with some face-to-face. And let me get my stuff together. See, this is one of the downsides of trying to scramble last minute to try to get as much stuff out as I can. So here I'm going to put this link out here. Copy. I'm going to send this link. Put this link out here real quick. So this is an invite for anybody who's watching. So far, it looks like it's about 261 people tuning in, if I'm not mistaken. Hit the thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel. Let's see if we can get the thumbs up well close to 200. So if you're taking time to spend with us, don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up button. Just go beneath this video, hit the thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel. And hopefully the algorithms and all that stuff like that, because it's all about reaching, new people, getting people to still plugged into the matrix. We got to help as many people as possible realize that something is going down, and they have to do the best they can to take these last remaining bits of purchasing power, as well as the last remaining bit of resources that are available on shelves and stores, whatever it is you do now, try to be one up that, so that you can stay ahead of the curve and go from there. So let me see who's going to connect. Looks like Mr. LBP want to connect with us. Let's get him on here whenever I see his face. Miss Ladybug, I appreciate that love. We got Mr. LBP. Look at Hollywood.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, my friend?
I see some clothes on.
I see you in the closet. Your kids got you in the closet, huh?
I'm coming out the closet, Mike. Man, I've been partying all night, Mike. Just here chilling.
I bet, man. So give me the rundown, man. How's life, man? I see you got the new crib, right?
Yeah, look at my bathtub. I'm not a show-off. I'm just a regular guy. This is how stupid the banks are. Look, I don't know. Can you see the tub? Maybe.
Yeah, I see you.
It's like a fucking pool, man. Look. I'm gonna give you some scale. I don't know. Can you kind of see it?
Yeah, I see you, man. I see you. Congrats on the house, man. So you said the banks is giving away funds, huh?
The banks are just giving the money. Look, I didn't put no money down, Mike. Go get yourself a free house.
The LBP, man, you're a brave soul, man. You're a brave soul. Because I'm assuming you got some contingency plans down the line. Stuff hit the fan. You gonna sustain that or let it go. You gonna work all that out. I'm sure, right? You got all that planned according to what you can do, right?
Look, this is don't get yourself where you can't pay. You know?
Yeah.
But this is the way I think. Okay, you're thinking, okay. Like say you're thinking to yourself, okay, in the future an ounce is going to be $1,000. You know, I don't know if it is, but I'm just saying if that's what you think, you get yourself a $500,000 house, you buy yourself a monster box, and it's paid. You know, maybe I'm not. You know, but if not, Plan B, you just make the payments. You know, and you live happy.
I hear you, man. I like the fact you living your best life, man. Do you, LBP, man?
I just sold my house too. The other house. I just sold it. So, well, I gotta go do the closing, but I already got the deal done. So.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. And as of right now, I didn't get a chance to make it down there. I'm still plotting and planning on trying to do a trip. I'm thinking about the Midwest, like Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming. I've never been to that area there, so I'm thinking about. I need some scenery. I need some mountains, man. I need some nature in my life, man.
Like, what do you want to go there for? There ain't nothing out there, but and unless that interests you, you know.
I mean, it interests me just because I've never gone. Like I've never gone, and I want to see some bison and some moose or whatever else is out there, some wildlife. Just I want to see the open air with some fresh air, man. The city air, it ain't fresh no more.
Look, man. I've never been out there, so I can't tell you, but I heard Yellowstone's a beautiful place to go, you know. Go out there, rent a cabin. Yeah. And I heard it's really cool, but you know.
Hey, I'm about that, man. I'm about nature. It's just in the cities you don't get a chance to see much. Going up Michigan, going up north is okay, but yeah, I need some wide open space, man. What else? Anyway, so what's going on with you, man? So give me a rundown on the silver tip, man. You still keep an eye on the price? Are you able to get it any cheaper with it when the price dips?
I got in like remember that Silver Sunday I got in when it was about $23, you know, that's with the premiums, you know? Yeah. I haven't been in a while, man, since that day it shot up. Remember it shot up to $30? Mm-hmm. The week before that's the last time I got in. I dipped my toes in, but I haven't bought anything since. So I don't know, gold's looking good right now.
Yeah, somebody said BlackRock bought LPB's old house.
Nah, it was an investor. I wish. Hell, I could have maybe got more money, you know?
They'd have overpaid for it substantially.
Man. You know what? I think BlackRock's buying houses in big cities. I don't think they're out here, but who knows?
Yeah, and based upon the articles, man, it looks like they're buying the newly built, you know, entire subdivisions. They want like the fresh boys for, you know, just because it's good at their portfolio. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. So moving forward in the future, if BlackRock and all the other, you know, big money players buy up everything, how do you think that whole, I guess they're going to be renting them out to your average Joe? So if the idea is to remove home ownership, How do you think that not global, but probably global landlordship will look like? What do you think that will look like if they succeed in that? What's your thoughts on that?
Like I don't think these big companies are gonna. It's not profitable for them to rent a single family home. There's too much maintenance. There's too much taxes, and the people will just walk away from you and destroy the house. I don't think that's a good investment, man. I think these guys have to get multi homes, with like four or five plexes or apartment complexes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that's a good move, man. To just get a single family and rent it.
Yeah. I think they playing with the house money. So basically, they don't stand to lose nothing because they already. So I think it was BlackRock and Vanguard. They own every single corporation of some. They got some percentage of every single company. So when they getting all this QE money, stimulus money, and they can create it from out of nothing, I don't think they have anything worth that they're concerned with losing, man. So profitability, I don't think it's nothing to do with that. I think they just want control. They want to just say they own everything, and they always know that somebody gonna come in need of what they have. As evil and twisted as that is.
That sounds right, Mike. If it's controlled, then that's what they're going for. Because, like I said, the maintenance, the property taxes, and the turnaround, and oh my God, it's just a nightmare,
Yeah. So I want to make sure I extend the invite. Anybody else want to join us this last couple minutes or whatnot to hang out face to face? What are your thoughts on Cuomo? He's resigning. What are your thoughts on that? You think it's just smoke and mirrors, a distraction, or you think he's guilty? That's why he's they don't want to go any further and expose some stuff, so he dropped out, or what? What do you think?
I haven't really been following it too much. I see the hypocrisy so much though. Like the right wing, like they just tell a girl, "You look nice today," and that's, oh my God, that's the end of the world. And this guy be putting his hands on ladies, and it's okay. They were asking for it,
Yeah. So
ridiculous.
It says Cuomo's Nixonian resignation speech. I didn't listen to the speech or whatever, but apparently this guy, and I think he's destroyed New York, and the person that's filling in for him, apparently her husband, it's a lady, her husband worked for Obama during his administration. So they just keep it in the same, sinister family. They all crooks and criminals. So I'd imagine she's going to be very dictatorship-like as well. So nothing's going to change there. They putting their own back in place.
Yeah, it's the same song, just a different person playing the instrument,
Yeah, let me see here. So it says low blood pressure knows that Biden is making millions off immigrants, legal citizens. So interesting is in his own favor, is in his favor.
Hey, I want somebody to call in and ask me anything about anything, man. Call in.
We got a call right here.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on. Hello, caller. Where you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Hi there. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Carmen, Trenton, New Jersey.
Carmen, how you doing tonight? What's on your mind?
Mike seems to be the man with all the answers. I just wanted to find out from him what his opinion is on the situation that America is in and why we are not doing anything about it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to ask him.
Great question. So I'll answer that as well as I have my LBP, my co-host tonight. So we'll share our thoughts on that. Of course, this is just all opinion based.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. He's gonna ask you a question. Go ahead.
Ma'am, what situation? You talking about the monetary situation or the healthcare situation?
I can't understand you.
Ask her again. LBP,
the monetary situation or the healthcare situation?
He said the monetary system or the healthcare situation.
What about it?
He said either one, or you talk about both of those together, as far as the situation you're referring to.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm talking. So the question was thrown back to you as far as what exactly are you referring to as a situation? Is it the health situation, the monetary system, both combined, or what?
Government.
The government.
It appears to me that the government is not a government of the people,
correct,
by the people, or for the people.
Right.
And so my question is, if they're not for the people, by the people, what are we going to do about it? I mean, it's like we're sitting with our thumbs up our butt, and we're letting these people that have power take the country away from us.
Very true. Very true.
If we don't do something, whatever our laws are, you know, if we don't do something, it's really getting to the point where it's going to be too late to do anything.
Right.
It's like we're sitting around talking about this. This is too serious.
Right. I agree. And I will share my thoughts with that off air, because I'll also ask Mr. LBP as well. But thank you for the call, and I'll definitely share my thoughts.
Okay, your name, you're not Mike, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Your voice sounds different.
Okay. Sorry. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the call as well. Appreciate you tuning in.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's funny. Okay, so a lot of great thoughts there. Everything is going down. Clearly, more people are realizing the government's not for us; they're against us more. So, what are we going to do about it? And that's that $1 million question. And this is LBP. Feel free to chime in when you want. But my personal opinion is that collectively, I don't think the 300 and something million people will be able to come together to do anything to disrupt everything, because overwhelming majority bought into it and believe everything as being authentic and genuine. So there will be no resistance whatsoever. It's a small few that are awake and aware. We're the minority in this, and we're the ones that's being boxed into the corner. Other than speaking, preaching, trying to reach as many people as possible to prepare individually, at this current moment, I don't think there's enough time to collectively come together with any single game plan that will be something we can all execute. And that's why I think it's literally, we're probably at the point where it's every man for themselves, just because outside of doing something completely drastic in the form of like a revolutionary type of event where, you know, everybody just arm up and hit the streets type of thing, which is what I'm assuming what they want, it's a little bit too late for the collective to come together at this current moment, is my opinion. But I could be 100% wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But that's my little 2 cents on that. What do you think, LBP?
Look, if you're talking about violence, it's not going to work, you know. The violence, you do it when people are in front of your home or your neighborhood. You can't have violence where you go like to Capitol Hill or something like that. It's not going to work. So if we're talking about that, when it's in front of your home, that's when you do it. Okay?
Yeah.
And as far as trying to go through your Congress and Senate and representatives, they don't care about you. They only care about the big banks. So the only thing I think you could do, or what I do, is get your money out of their system. Get your labor and your money, which, the dollar. Get out of the dollar.
Yeah.
And get your goods that you need, your self-defense, and get your food. And that's all you could do. There's nothing else you could do, because they don't listen. They only listen to the banks.
Yeah.
So just let it all burn down and, rebuild when, once the ashes, once it's all over, you're prepared. You're not going to be the idiot at the grocery store trying to, fight for a cheeseburger or whatever it is, but bread. And that's all you can do. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah. So appreciate the thoughts there. So we have Mr. Dennis join us. Dennis, how you doing, my friend? Can't hear
I'm
you.
doing great, Mike.
Thank
you for inviting me.
Yes, sir, man. It's a way for the face-to-face. So where you located at?
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Where you located at? What area? What region?
Well, I'm in California right now. I travel quite a bit. I just put an offer in on a farm and a ranch in Mexico today.
Really? Congratulations. That's a big move. So
yes,
I take it.
What part of Mexico? What state?
In the Yucatan Peninsula is where I'm with my wife and my family. But I just finished my book, The Totalitarian Two-Step. I left a link to it. It talks about the failing currency, these planned wars. I start with Conley, November 22nd, 1963. FDR in 34. And I'm talking the Gold Reserve Act before, where he stole the purchasing power of 41%.
Yeah.
I tell the real story. I tell the the story, bomb, 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 Iran. That's where we're headed. The Americans are waking up. The young people will not fight for the empire, and the empire's failing. To answer the last woman's question, I had the answer a while back on my YouTube channel, and it was this: got cancer, make your life count. And what I mean by that, these people are going to start getting sick and are getting sick. And if they do, if it was me personally, I'm grabbing my pistol and I'm introducing it left and right. I don't care. That's where the country's at. We're failing. Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
How are you going to do the pistol thing?
And I'll send anyone a copy of my book, too, by the way. If anyone wants an e-copy of my book, and Mike, I'd like to send you a copy in there in Detroit. Please put your post box or to connect.
For sure. Shoot me an email. Shoot me an email, and I'll definitely get that to you.
Well, which email address do I use?
Just go to Rethinking a Dollar at the top left, and that'll get its way back to me.
Okay, yes. Go ahead. You had a question, BP?
LBP, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question. How are you going to do the pistol thing you talk about in Mexico, in Yucatan?
How am I going to do what?
Using a firearm situation. I'm assuming he's probably referring to the firearm situation in the U.S. if stuff hit the fan type of thing, or what?
In Mexico. Look, the research I've done, there's only 2 places in the whole country you could buy a firearm in Mexico, but I might be wrong, but it's very sketchy out there.
Last year at this time, I was in Mexico. I spent the lockdown. I was in Belize. I predicted this in 2018. I said the United States would be in a recession, which would lead to a depression in 2020. And, I expect 20% inflation by 2023, and I think the cat is out of the bag. Meaning, you can't put the inflation genie back in the bottle. So going back, I go back to the Weimar Republic in the 1920s. And here's when the currency fails. Guys, this is it. It fails when it is no longer redeemable to buy precious metals. Now, in Germany, they took a little different approach. I just got done rereading, by the way, When Money Dies. And it was about 1914 when they suspended the redeemability of the mark. Now, it really didn't fail until 1923, which is when I think we're going down. As I go around the United States, I was at the Gerald Celente in May 31st out there and signed books with Gerald and gave him a copy, him and David Knight. Now, one of the things, I've been traveling throughout the United States. I can tell you the young people, most of them don't care. And I'm 43. I did well in business, and I'm getting out of here. As far as firearms in Mexico, I was in there in an RV. I drove a 35-foot RV leaving Brownsville, and I took 33 days in Mexico, and I didn't have a problem. Now, I don't drink, and I don't go looking for problems. I didn't stay at any RV park. I boondocked. The Mexican people were fantastic. I have 2 hound dogs that I travel with. You guys can look at my YouTube video. I'm not doing anything on YouTube that's going to get my video, channel taken off like before. Because I had a great video when I was down there trying to monetize the silver. I tried to buy $500,000 worth of silver in June when I was down there in Mexico. That was when the monetization of the Mexican Congress for the silver was going through, and I was trying to get a hold of Hugo. I know this sounds crazy, Hugo Salinas Price, but at that time, if I would have bought $500K worth of silver, I would have looked great. Anyway,
I just want to tell you,
upset. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to tell you, look, be careful with firearms in Mexico. I have family that lives in Mexico. My mom was born in Mexico, and I have family that they're Mexican citizens, and they still can't get a firearm, and they don't have bad, they have a clean background, but it's just be very careful.
I'm not carrying any firearms in Mexico. You have them in the United States, but I have a lot of gold and silver, and I'm kind of well known in some ways. So anyway, in Mexico, it's a little, look, I don't travel with any. What I have, what I'm wearing, is what I have on me, guys. Most of my stuff's in Singapore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
hey, don't show Barlight Broker that necklace. He's gonna get jealous, you know. Tuck that thing in,
Mr. Gold Chain himself.
This my silver's looking very tarnished from the water in California here. But anyway, this was from Maujao, Mexico, and that guy David there. He was such a great silversmith. I bought both of these and some other. And I also bought Libertads. I was in a Mexican bank, and it's funny because, hey, Mexico, these guys currency resets down there. They've been through them. So I was in this Mexican bank, and I don't speak a lick of Spanish. Mm-hmm. And I was in there with a bunch of currency, U.S. currency, and I was buying Libertads, and I had my hat on. They're like, take your hat off. I had no idea what they were saying, but I took my hat off. But I don't have any hair.
You should have had a sombrero. If you would have had a sombrero, they wouldn't have bothered you.
Oh, man.
Well, one of the things that they do, though, I just wanted to say, when they go into a bank and they get a paycheck, they cash it and take the currency that they need, and then the rest goes into silver. I was like the 30th in line. Mm-hmm. And, so the smart Mexicans down there are getting silver. And Mexico, by the way, in my opinion, in the next 5 years is going to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world. They produce the most silver. 85 or 80% of the world's silver comes from Mexico. By the way, number 2 is Peru, which is such an interesting country. I plan on visiting down there. Anyway, this stuff's getting pretty crazy here with the totalitarian two-step. The reason I named my book that is because they give you a little bit of legality, something legal. You can have marijuana.
Yeah.
But then you can, all these strings attached. You can gamble in this state, but you can't in this one. You can bang a hooker in this one, but you can't in that. It's ridiculous. In a free country, you would not need to ask permission. We are adults, my friends. Mm-hmm. We are not children.
Yeah. Now watch it. What's your YouTube channel name?
I think it's the Totalitarian Two-Step. I'll put a link in.
All right. So if you want to go check you out, Totalitarian Two-Step. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a link in. I've been traveling. I just came from Yellowstone, and I was up in Glacier Park too. But everything's on fire around here in Northern California. It's crazy. The place where I'm staying at this farm, we've been on generators for a week.
Yeah.
All the power's out in Northern California, so that guy that called, he's right. And there's fires all the way around here. I'm being surrounded by smoke. It's like they're coming for me. I'm from Kenosha, by the way, Mike, right across the pond from you. I have a chapter in my book. It's called From Motown to Poor Warehouse Town. And, Kenosha is this little Detroit. And I talk about this in my book. I have the inflation charts in there, by the way, that from Shadow Stats and stuff. But, in 1980 or so, a union car worker in Kenosha could make about $13 an hour adjusted for inflation. I think that's around 38. Mm-hmm. Now, we know that they're making more than that at the UAW. But one of the things with this is these jobs are all gone in Kenosha. Mm-hmm. Okay, but they've been replaced by 2 warehouse distribution centers. These jobs are paying $15 an hour. No health care or very poor health care or high deductibles. And, the United States citizens are just getting poorer. We've seen this. Mm-hmm. By the way, I was going to use your chart that you have there in your screen for showing the dollar losing its value, but I used the one from actually Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool about it. So, please, man. I'll send you a copy of my book. It's 140 pages, and I hope other people take a look at it. Like, if anyone wants it, I wrote this book really for the veterans that have been fooled.
Yeah.
And I talk about this because there's 58,000 that we lost in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. Now, you had over 85,000 return addicted to heroin. Mm. You had over 80-some thousand commit suicide. Mm-hmm. So you had more that have commit suicide in fake war because the United States has not declared a war since 1942. and that was like against Colombia. We've been in a war or a conflict 93% of the time since 1776.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I quote the guys like Wilkeson that says the United States exists to create war. And I don't know how anybody can be proud of this anymore. I call it the United States of Israel because Israel's little big brother is being pushed into a war, whether it's with Venezuela, these bankster wars, or with Iran, which is a proxy war against Russia and China. Now, Hugo says the United States is going to lose. My friends, that's a billionaire that's connected. Yes, he was wrong on Basel III, but he'll be right in January. The paper game's coming to an end in Russia.
So what's happening in January? Give me Hugo a rundown on what's happening in January.
Well, I think that's when they are going to actually force the Basel III to be implemented.
Yeah.
So
that's when it hits the UK.
But we also have to, so, I think this can's getting kicked down the road like everything else. I did a video the other day. One of my chapters, I quote John Prine's song about the empire falling and the people being thrown in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the quotes in my book is Johnny Common Folk ain't got the currency, and the rent checks are coming due. Okay, so they're hitting the street. We'll be giving them another couple months, but that's, loan forbearance. It's all has to end. What cannot, what is unsustainable cannot be sustained.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where we're at now. How long? I don't know. I thought about could I hide? Could I stay? Could I fight? And, I just thought, I'm leaving. I'm leaving because the young people in their 20s are the people that have the future of the country, and they don't seem to care. I mean, I'm out selling books, and a lot of times I'm just giving books out for free, to help people, to teach them that currency is not money.
Yeah.
It's not a storage of wealth. I mean, it's losing 4%. This paper game's done. No fiat currency has survived the test of time ever, and the United States dollar is not going to be the first.
Yeah.
We have 5,000 years of history on our side. We're getting smacked around with paper being pushed around, which is ridiculous how much they put on the market. $4 billion.
It is just
now, one thing I wanted to ask you, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, I wanted to ask you something. What's up with the SDRs? I mean, we're talking a huge influx. What Lynette Zhang showed on that graph the other day.
Yeah.
Is big. Now, let me ask you, we know the SDR, and we can talk about it, or you have in the past, 1969, they always start this stuff being backed by a portion of gold and then see ya. Okay, but what's an SDR do? How are they able to even convert it into currency?
I think as of right now, they're positioning it as a standard in and of itself. Like gold was a standard that was supposedly pegged to currencies pegged to them, and SDR was created, and it was going to be the replacement of fiat currencies at the end. So I think the SDR standard is what they are trying to orchestrate under the system, because they have the SDR, then right next to it they have, what's the value of that in dollar terms, yen terms, Chinese yuan terms. So they got the different exchange rates in accordance to the SDR. So I think that's their version of their standard that doesn't incorporate gold or anything like that, but it's of itself a standard, I think, if they try to pull it off that way. So we'll see how that plays out.
And what gives this value?
Absolutely nothing. It's a continuation of fiat, but now it's essentially controlled by the bankers themselves in Basel. Go ahead.
I wanted to compliment you on your program that you did regarding the central digital currencies and the sand currencies and the different charts where it's been utilized. I've been studying that for a couple months.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know about that. And what I've noticed, if you look at a chart on, goldprice.org, you'll see that currency has lost about 55% of its value since its implementation. And I think they did it twice.
Hold on, which currency? Which currency are you talking about? Which one?
It's called the Suriname. I'll put a link. I'll put a link into it right now. 1 second. But Yeah, that was a great program that you did, Mike. Well done. I learned a lot from that one.
Appreciate it. Well, watch this. Put in the
and
chat.
I like your Mark and Mario show.
Oh yeah, and it's fun to connect Mario because he's a very well informed guy himself. So I try to collaborate as much as possible. But hey, Dennis, I appreciate you checking in, man. It's good to put a face with a name. So shoot me that email, and of course, are you a part of the Discord community?
I am. I don't visit there too often because my internet traveling isn't the most reliable.
Yeah, I would say if you can, well, if you connect there, it'd be a good way to also offer a copy of your book as well in there for people if they're interested. So, but I appreciate you checking in with us, man, and definitely send me that copy and we'll connect some other time. I thank you for tuning in with us.
Thank you, my friend. Good night.
All right, be good. All righty, people. So that was the RTD face-to-face portion where you get a chance to connect face-to-face and share what's on your mind. And so Mr. Dennis is an educator, so he's dropping nuggets out there. Appreciate him for checking in. And other than that, people, it's been great to hang out. And we're going to continue on tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll probably do an earlier live stream. And then, of course, in the evening have one for the Patreon gang. So for those that are still there tuning in, appreciate you for hanging out with us. Hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. And other than that, be blessed, be safe. And let's end on a good note with some good news for those that are interested. And so let me see here. We got a couple people still tuning in. So as always, I want to make sure I end on some good news. I see a super chat there from Penhas. Thank you for the blessing to the channel. And, of course, as Shane says, get your weight up. And let me make sure everything is here. All right, so we are good to go. So let's close with a little bit of prayer, giving props where props are due, and that's a good man upstairs, Jesus Christ himself, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And so we all know what's going on here. At the essence of everything is spiritual nature. And so those that are in Christ, we're promised that we win in the end. Now, between now and the end, there's no telling what it might look like other than having a little bit of spiritual discernment on how we should navigate these waters. In the end, we win. And so let's say of good cheer, stay encouraged, stay positive, and do the best we can, man, to just enjoy today. It's so much to be grateful for, and I'm sure you guys are taking advantage of every opportunity. Enjoy the rest of your summer for what you have. And it looks like my internet might be acting up on me. So anyway, let's bow our heads with a little bit of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight. We thank you for your goodness and mercy and grace. We thank you for the blood which has washed us of all of our sins, Father. We ask you continue to watch over us, keep us, protect us, allow us to be bold and courageous, Father, to preach and to share our faith with others, Father, drawing them into your kingdom, Father. We trust that everything that's going on around us and to us, Father, that you'll take care of your own like you always have. We just thank you in advance for the victory in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, people. That is all she wrote for tonight. Appreciate you for checking in with us. As always, for any resources, videos, you name it, all beneath this video here. Be blessed, be safe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.